Hey everyone, Evan Cole here, and I wanted to start this off by thanking you all so much for all of this recent support. My channel just hit 150 subscribers, and these last two videos I put out have been the best performing videos I've ever made. So thank you all so much for your support. And to celebrate, I thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about me and my relationship with old format, and we will end up going through this box of playable bulk that I have collected over the years. Cards that I picked up because I thought they could go in decks, and I just never got around to it. And I also thought we could go through my binder and discuss some of the cool cards I have in there. This collection of decks is not as big as it used to be. I was primarily collecting before I went to college. That's when I was buying all my cards and building all my decks. And as I went over to college, I ended up selling a lot of them. A lot of the decks I sold to people who are watching this video right now. So thank you all so much for taking a new home to these decks and being so nice to them. I see some people will post pictures of the decks and I get to be like, hey, that used to be my deck. Almost like a proud parent. So I thought it'd be fun to go through these cards that I have had sitting around for a while now, and stick around to the end of the video because to also celebrate this 150 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway, and stay tuned for that. But for now, let's start looking at some of this cool stuff I got in this box here. All right, so this is my box, and as I said before, what I have done over the years of collecting is that, I would go through bulk boxes and just try to find cards that I knew fit in some deck or another. And so we're going to go through, see what I've had sitting in here for the last 5+ years, and talk about what decks they could fit into, how I might have planned to use them. And I'm curious to see just what stuff I've had sitting in this box for so long. You might be surprised at just how playable some of these cards are. So this box is organized. It's organized alphabetically and then chronologically. So we have the Pokemon here, and then the trainers and supporters are in this area, and then the stadiums are actually back here too. So we will move through those, and again, it'll be alphabetical and then chronological. So it'll be interesting seeing the same Pokemon have multiple cards throughout time that I deemed viable enough to keep away. So in this first area here, before we even get to the cards, I have this really cool playmat that was put in the Eternal Time theme deck. I believe this is from Great Encounters. This was the theme deck with Dialga. I think, let's see if we can, yep, there he is. So this is something I've had with me ever since I was a little kid, and these DP sets were brand new, and I've always been keeping it handy. Otherwise, besides the cards themselves, I have a lot of these silica packs just stuffed in here. I had extras anyway, and I thought it'd be a good way to keep the cards safe. And then in this pile, we just have some bulk cards I've had sitting around, some reverse hollows, some non-hollows. So nothing interesting there, but now we can get into the good stuff. Starting out with the Pokemon, so I'm just going to grab a bunch here and let's get going. So first we have Apom and Ambipom from Triumphant. So if you have not seen, these cards are viable in Ambipom Weavile, which was a deck that Alaric McKenzie took to the top 8 of Canadian Nationals in 2011. The idea of the deck is to use Ambipom's Astonish combined with Weavile's Claw Snag to destroy your opponent's hand and to stop them from ever starting the game. And then you can also use Tail Spank as an attacking way to win, and then the deck runs other attackers as well. So that's where Apom and Ambipom come in. Next up, we have this Ampharos Delta from Dragon Frontiers. So this card was definitely more of a tech card. I don't think that it was used very often, but in some 2000 decks, it was used for its Delta Circle attack. I don't think Holland Vale was ever much of a factor, maybe with like Holland's cast form to give you that extra Delta ability. But yeah. Next up, we have Azel from Mysterious Treasures. Of course, that downer material body is so useful against basic decks, most notably any SP decks and Regigigas running around. Next up here, we have Ampharos from Secret Wonders. Of course, part of that combination with Abomasnow Secret Wonders. These two combined with their Pokebodies to really do a lot of harm to your opponent's board before even attacking, and then you can attack with it to finish off the game. Nice reverse holo here. And one of the problems that Secret Wonders had was that if you notice right here, there's this vertical line that just cuts right through the holo, and this was a problem that the Secret Wonders had with its Rev Holos, and it won't be the only time that you see it in this collection. I have at least one more that I know of. Next up, of course, we have Baltoy from Great Encounters, part of Claydol. Bannet from Secret Wonders. So this Bannet was used as a tech in Shuppet Donk because there are Pokemon such as Mewtwo level X that prevent all damage to it from basics. So since Shuppet is a basic, Shuppet Donk sometimes techs in this Bannet to get around stuff like Mewtwo level X. Bailey from Dragon Frontiers. This card is from Meganium Delta. It was most commonly used with Meganium, Metagross, and what's that S stand for? Oh, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what MMS. I think Scyther. No, Scizor. Sorry. I think it's Scizor. Oh, I'm embarrassed. I don't remember. But yeah, that's part of that. This Beldum, I don't quite remember why it was here. I think Metagross GX from a while ago. Blossom from Hidden Legends, of course, that Heal Dance. This card is very prominent in the 2004 format, and so I have a couple copies here. Next up, so I am a Blissey collector. If you were unable to tell, Blissey is my favorite Pokemon, so I have a lot of Blisseys in my binder over here, but I couldn't fit them all in here because I have had so many friends give me Blisseys over time, so a lot of them actually just reside here in this box. So every single one of these Blisseys, I love them to death. You know, this Korean Blissey's awesome. We have the Galaxy foil for this, and then, I mean, Blissey from Guardians Rising is probably my favorite art ever, so I acquired as many copies of that as I possibly could. Just look at that art. This is absolutely gorgeous. And we got the foil and the Rev, and yeah, so love Blissey to death. And hey, Blissey from Platinum, that's playable. Maybe you'll get to see a deck I have with that one sometime. Spoiler alert, it is Magnezone. Brock's Vulpix, this is part of the Brock's Ninetales deck, so the idea of that is to evolve into a Brock's Ninetales and then use its Pokemon power to turn it into a Steelix, and then take advantage of the Brock engine and the power of Steelix to tank your way to a win. Bronzong G, of course, you know, for SP, just an absolutely powerful card. Pretty much every SP deck should be running Bronzong G. Chansey from Unseen Forces, this is just in case I would want to run Blissey EX, but my LBS runs a different Chansey. I wonder why. Combi from Stormfront, so this card is used in Gyarados for this honey item, and it allows you to get a Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench underneath Trainer Lock. So that's a way to get around being locked. Cyndaquil here. Cyndaquil evolves into Typhlosion from Neo. Typhlosion and I believe Entei is its own deck in the Neo era. We got Dark Dragonair. So, of course, part of Dark Dragonite. Dragtrode, one of the most iconic decks. I have a game with Dragtrode on the channel already if you want to go check that out. Next up, we have Dark Gloom. This is part of Dark Vileplume, which was the first Vileplume to have that Pokemon power to lock down trainers. And especially when this card came out, all trainers were just trainers. So Dark Vileplume, very powerful card. And alternatively, Gloom is my second favorite Pokemon. So I think I have some of these too just because I love Gloom so much. Dark Tyranitar. So this card itself isn't in the greatest of shapes, but I don't discriminate. I will always play a card as long as I can put it in a sleeve. I will take it. So this Dark Tyranitar is used in several decks. It was most notably used in combination with Scramble Energy and Electrode EX. That deck's called Bombtar. Ross Cawthon got second place in 2005 Worlds with it, and then Sebastian Crema went 9-0 with it in 2006. So very great card, very great deck. Here we have that Dark Vileplume. Hay Fever, no trainers can be played. Just a oppressive card, first edition as well. We have Diglett. Diglett combines with Doug Trio, whose body is just like a bench guard. Dragonair, I believe I was at Wisconsin Regionals in 2017, and my friend Desiree was playing this really interesting Dragonite deck. and I thought about building it, but I never did. Um, Driftblim from Undaunted does have this takeaway attack, and I'm struggling to remember if it was ever used, but I believe that's why I have this one sitting around in here. Driftblim FB, of course. This is a common tech in SP, especially Dialga lists. Puka teched this into his third place Nationals 2010 Dialga Rev Hollow here. And then we have a Drifloon for that Driftblim. All right, next stack of Pokemon. Here we go. Eevee from Majestic Dawn, it's super important if you ever want to play an Eevee deck. Similarly, this Energy Evolution Eevee is very viable in whatever format you want to play in. Electabuzz from base is one of the most iconic Pokemon ever. Of course, part of that Haymaker deck. And Thundershock and Thunder Punch do great job for how energy efficient they are. Thundershock is just such a ubiquitous attack in that format. And as we see with decks like Lickitung, being able to try to paralyze and stall is very important. Next up here, we have a 4 of Electrike. This, of course, is from Mutrick and any Manectric EX decks. These ones come from my own personal Mutrick deck. I did end up selling that deck, or at least selling the expensive cards from it. And so a lot of the cards I was unable to sell or just didn't want to made its way into the box. So maybe someday these Electrikes will have another home. Electrike from Platinum and Electrike from Arceus. So there's Manectric from Platinum that also has a bench guard attack or body to protect your Pokemon. Elekid from Neo. So this Playful Punch, it allows you to do 20 with no energy, and it's awesome. I don't remember exactly how common this card is in Neo, but I definitely know that it goes into a deck at some point. I'm not sure which one. God, and okay, yeah, so the power ends your turn, but Elekid does not have to be active, so you can do some shenanigans there. And Polion FB, this is just one of those cool League promos. I think I might have tried to put in a deck, but I don't think it ever really worked. The attacks weren't good enough. So next we have Entei Neo. So this legendary body is mainly what it's there for. It just protects your Entei from any effects on your opponent. Erica's Gloom, again, this is just because I collect Gloom. Exeggutor, oh, this is an iconic card, 2006, 2007, RS through PK. Of course, it is most well known to combine with Raichu Delta, but Delta Circle and Split Bomb are both phenomenal attacks. This is a phenomenal card. If you have not played a deck with Exeggutor Delta, I highly recommend it. It's a very fun way to play this game. Next up, we have Feebas from Hidden Legends. Of course, that evolves into Melodic, which we will get to later. Here we have Flygon from Secret Wonders. So this is sometimes a tech in Flygon decks in the DP era. More commonly 2009 than 2010, but that Irritating Buzz is definitely an effective body, especially if you want to do some kind of hit and run strategy and running into this Flygon. If you have both Irritating Buzz and Wind Erosion, you're both dealing a damage to everything and you're milling your opponent between each turns. That's pretty cool. And as you can see here, right here as well, we have another one of these Secret Wonder Rev Hollow errors with this line coming through here. Very interesting that I have multiple Pokemon with it. Next up, of course, we have Ghastly. I mean, this is just iconic. Gengar is a phenomenal Pokemon in every format it was legal in, and Pitch Dark is just the best attack with it. Similarly, Girafarig here with this rear sensor body shuts off basic powers, so this really is just a tech to combat Jirachi. It has a few other uses, like it, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Mainly just shuts off Jirachi, though. Got more Gloom. So Golbat Neo, of course, Crobat, it has its triple poison attack and it has another attack as well. I had a Crobat deck built, I think, gosh, I built it online. I think it was Crobat Murkrow? And I wanted to build it in person, but I only built the Neo decks for a short period of time. I only built like 3 of them. And I think I considered Crobat, but I never got around to it. Plus, those holo prices were crazy back then, and they're even more so now. So probably won't ever be building this one again, but still got those Golbat there. Goldeen is not viable. Grimer, Muck shuts off Poke Powers, I believe. So yeah, this was a common tech back then. I did run Muck in my Rocket Zapdos list. Then, of course, we have Gyarados. So this is one of the most powerful attackers whenever it's legal. Tail Revenge, 0 energy for 90 damage, 110 if you have an extra belt is just phenomenal. Holland's Cast Form, one of the most powerful Pokemon in its entire format too. Delta Draw is an insane attack if you have a Delta deck, and then being able to attach itself as a double rainbow just makes this Pokemon insane and so impactful. Holland's Voltorb does the same thing here. You can attach it as a basic colorless energy, so, or not basic, but just a colorless energy, so that's why we got these here. Houndour evolves into Houndoom, which will lock your opponent of trainers if they have more bench Pokemon than you. Lantern, that energy grounding. This is one of my favorite Pokemon and just favorite cards, period. Energy grounding is amazing. Lightning Strike is amazing. My favorite deck in 2004 by far is Medicham Lantern Gorbis, so I have always had a place in my heart for this card. Larvitar Delta, Latias Delta. Latias, I don't think this one was used. There's another one that's used as well with a body that shuts down other bodies of evolved Pokemon. Lickitung from Jungle. This is one of the most feared decks of its format. Let's see, we have base 2 and jungle, so I got both of them. And just tongue wrap and stall with your 90 HP. Lickitung Stall is one of the most powerful decks in whatever format it's in. Watch out for this card. It will ruin your day. Magcargo, shout out to my friend Kara Quera, and this is her all-time favorite Pokemon and all-time favorite card, as far as I know. And Smooth Over, once during your turn, search your deck and put a card on top. Phenomenal card, and I've used it in several decks. I have it in ZRE, I have it in Ludicargo, and of course the Cargo gets its name from this girl right here. So really happy to have another copy of her sitting around. Magmar, similarly, again, that is also in ZRE for that dump and draw. And really, this is just telling me I need to make a video with ZRE at some point. I do have several 2005 decks sitting around still, and I would love to get some videos in with them, so I might just have to do that here sometime soon. Magnezone from DP, so this one has this magnetic search. Once during your turn, you can search up a lightning or metal and Pokemon and put it into your hand. So this is a card I picked up because I considered it for the Magnezone deck in 2010. I ended up choosing not to run it because I favored running another copy of Super Connectivity, and I found that the Pokepower just wasn't powerful enough for my liking, so I had to take this one out, but we still got it here. Here's that Manectric with its electric barrier, prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon, most commonly combined with Donphan Prime, which is a deck I did have built at one point. I forget when or who I sold it to, but there we go. This Mantine is not viable, but this is my all-time favorite art on a Pokemon card. I think I said that Blissey was earlier, but it's Blissey is up there, and this Mantine's up there too. I love this art so much. It's so blissful and serene, and both those Mantine have a lot of character. Mary, so this card is played with Dark Ampharos, which I got in a deck here. Just a very powerful card. This Marshtomp, I think I picked it up just in case I would build a Swampert from 2004, but I never did, and I actually think this was the wrong Marshtomp anyway. And now we got a couple copies of Promo Mew. It's got that De-Evolution Beam. And this was a tech, and I think that Psywave was also used as an attack, I think against Mewtwo. I think there would just be Mew and Mewtwo wars. So this is a cool card. Picked up a few copies cheap from bulk at a store. All right, here we got Mewtwo Delta. So I initially put this card in as one of my super secret techs for Mewtrick. So that Swift, the idea was to replace Deoxys EX because Deoxys would be beat up by Cursed Stone and Desert Ruins, whereas Mewtwo avoids both of those at the expense of 10 damage. Unfortunately, 10 damage is a pretty big deal because it was most commonly used against Celebi EX, which has 90 HP, so doing 80 to it doesn't really matter. And then, like, Psychic Erase is cool, but I don't know. I never used it when I did run this card, so I did eventually take it out and replaced it with Minun, who is actually, like, right over here, so we'll get to Minun. All right, next up, we got Melodic from Hidden Legends. That Healing Shower power is phenomenal. It's amazing for any of your non-EX decks. This is most commonly run, or most well known for being run in Nidoqueen, particularly in the 2005 variant. So you get a Nidoqueen that is all beat up, and then you just drop Melodic, and you healed up all the way. Phenomenal card. Minun, Sniff Out, and Negative Spark are both insane. Considering Lunasol is my favorite 2006 deck, Negative Spark makes me cry because this auto wins against Lunasol, but you have to give it up to this card. It's just phenomenal, everything it does. Misty's Poliwag is nothing. Murkrow, I believe I considered it for Honchkrow SV, but there's a Murkrow with a Pokemon tool that is just much better, so unfortunately, this one's not very playable. All right. Next up here, we're going to finish off the Pokemon, so I'm going to get to the end of that. Nidoqueen from Rising Rivals. Maternal Comfort is a phenomenal body, and Nidoqueen will usually show up in pretty much any Stage 2 deck that it's legal in. definitely a great card to pick up. We got just the Nidoran for the Nidoqueen. Nidorina for Nidoqueen from Hidden Legends. Here's my Nidorina. Now we got this Ninetales from Hidden Legends here. So first of all, we got this lovely reverse holo. I love the reverse holos from Hidden Legends with those energy in the background. And so Safeguard is iconic body. And the power of Ninetales versus Wobbuffet is that since they both have Safeguard, they're the only two options in 2004 and 2005 for Safeguard. However, Wobbuffet is a basic, so Space Center will shut it off, whereas Ninetales cannot be shut off by anything at all at the cost of evolving. So I believe I used to run this in my Metacham list before I switched over to Wobbuffet because I found that evolving just wasn't worth it, and I'd rather have space for more disruption cards in my deck. So now they're sitting in here. This Nuzleaf is for turn 1 Shiftery Blowover, which is now banned. Oddish is here for Blossom that we saw earlier. Shout out to Yukamori for the amazing art. Oh god, I think this Onyx was meant to be like for a pure Steelix deck, but I never got around to that. This Onyx is for Steelix EX from the EX era, which was most commonly put in LBS, and I also run it in Meganium. So, great card. Oh, Steelix EX, that's the S from MMS. Oh, I'm embarrassed. There we go. Yeah, so that's the S in MMS. Metagross, Meganium, and Steelix. And these Onyx were for Steelix Prime, but I did have that deck built, and these are just extras, and I don't have that deck anymore. Palkia, this is for Palkia level X, and its restructure. I used it in Flygon Lock for 2009. This Pidgeot is played in Nidoqueen in 2006 for that Delta Reserve to shut off your opponent's Poke Powers. Just as a tech, because you already run Pidgeot anyway from Fire and Leaf Green, so here we go. Here's the Pidgeotto for it. Pignite evolves into Emboar for 2011. So Porygon evolves into Porygon 2 in the EX format. Porygon 2, draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. But here's a Porygon 2 from Great Encounters. Download. Once during your turn, discard a supporter and use that effect. Pretty cool card. I wish it was played more. I wish there was room for it in more decks because I think Download's really great. And I believe Download at least is or used to be played in Unlimited, which, nobody plays Unlimited. But if you do, your goal is to win turn 1, and I believe Porygon 2's contributed to winning on turn 1. Psyduck. Here we have Pumpkaboo for Night March, my favorite deck of all time. Just an extra sitting around. Quilava from that Neo deck. Ralts for Gardevoir in 2004. We have this Reshiram with that Turbo Blaze ability. I think I considered putting this in like a Dragon's deck back in the day, but I never got around to it. So here we go. This Scyther, I believe I wanted to run this in a Neo through Skyridge deck. I don't quite remember much about that, though, but that's why I have that here. C-Dot is for 04 Shiftery. Great deck, really fun. Superior, I think at one point I wanted to build this as a rogue back in the day. Shuckle Pot Shell body is phenomenal. It's run in Gliss Tomb. I run a Shuckle in my Magnezone, but I have Reverse Holo, so that's why this one is sitting in here. All right, here we get the Shuppet. So the idea was to use Fade Out and to load up your Shuppet with plus power and Expert Belt, and then Fade Out for, I believe you can max out with those at 90 damage. And then you put all those cards back in your hand, just then to next turn, bench Shuppet, attach everything, and do it all over again. So that's what Shuppet Donk does. So I've really always wanted to build this deck. I probably will at some point, but that's what we got here. Next up, we have this Shuppet just because I love Bleh. I think that's really funny, and I like the art a lot. So, all right, so here we got Skitty. It was meant to be played in 2004, but this is the wrong one, so that's why it's sitting here. Slugma evolves in Magcargo, plus it's one of the coolest arts I've ever seen. Very trippy. We got Smeargle. Gosh, I know this was a tech, but I don't really remember what it was a tech in. Consult Jason's blog. He will definitely know more about this than I do. I don't quite remember what Smeargle did. Sneasel. So this is a reprint of the beat-up Sneasel from Neo, but more importantly, it's used to evolve in a Weavile for a Claw Snag. But very cool card, and just an extra copy I have laying around. Solosis from Fates Collide. Don't know why that's there. Here's an extra copy of Solrock that I play in Lunasol. Everything about it is important. The body is, and both attacks are used. This Solrock's really cool. All right, here we have a few copies of Spiritomb from Arceus. We have 2 reverse holos, and one of them with the play promo foil. So, a very important card. Keystone Steel is phenomenal. And so is Darkness Grace. Amazing card. Amazing card. Yeah. It should be no surprise I have a few of these sitting around. This Squirtle, I think I picked it up for running a Blastoise EX, but Sorry, I'm trying to organize my cards here a little bit. It's not the right Squirtle. This Suicune is much more important for its legendary body. Again, I don't really remember what deck ran it, but I think it was a Feraligatr deck would tech this one in. Legendary body basically, I think it was mainly used for like double gust plays. I think it would prevent your opponent from double gusting up you, but I don't quite remember. Maybe it was just also for like getting around energy removal. Team Magma's camera, very important in 2004. Overheat combined with Team Magma's Claydol's power to move energy around allows you to accelerate onto your Groudon. We got this sick Torterra from Majestic Dawn, which is not viable, but Torterra is one of my favorite Pokemon. This Torterra, however, is viable. If you know anything about me, you do know that Flyterra is one of my all-time favorite decks, and this is a very cool... Let's see if I can get this on camera. This is a cracked foil. Yeah, there we go. You can see that in the light there. So this was sent to me by my friend Divinity Sylvie. This card is in like awful shape, but I don't care. This is sick and very cool. So we got that, and then Totodile for that Feraligatr deck that apparently at one point I wanted to build. We have this Toxicroak G. Anticipation plus Deep Poison isn't used a whole lot in the more modern versions of SP, but Toxicroak G combines with Skuntank G to... if you have a Stadium in play, you poison both active Pokemon except for Pokemon SP and then use Deep Poison. And since your opponent's Pokemon is poisoned, you can swing in for big damage. That's the idea. I think it was played in 2009. Dynamo for Electric, Electric, whichever one, in 2012, 2011, whenever this is legal. I played Eels back in the day, so this is really cool. This Tyranitar is great in 2009. Yeah, just you attack with Grind and Spinning Tail. Very cool card. All right, we got Unknown G. Of course, this card's iconic. You use the guard to protect your Pokemon from effects. Unknown Q, equally as iconic to get additional free retreat. Unknown question mark. This card's not viable. It has a really weird Pokepower, though. All right, Vileplume from Expedition. I played this in Wailord, and I took that deck apart, so that's why it's here. Voltorb is played in any deck that needs a Voltorb. Dark Electrode for Dragtrode, just for an Electrode EX decks like Bombtar. I run it in ZRE for Electrode EX. Here's the Vulpix for the Ninetales. Here's the Wailmer for that Wailord deck. Here's a different Wailord I have sitting around. 180 HP is kind of cool, and it's Rev Hollow, so here we are. Here's that Claw Snag Weavile I told you about. There should be a video coming out soon of Ambipom Weavile, so look out for that if you want to learn more about it. Very cool power, and very cool card. I really like this card a lot. Weavile G, this is a very niche tech in SP. I think I wanted to run it in Sableye, but I just either never got around to it or I tried and realized it wasn't very good. But like, yeah, this is cool and it's Rev Hollow, so I wanted to run it. This is a reprint of Zekrom, but this is from Next Destinies, so I usually care about like what set my cards were released in, so I don't think I ever plan to use this. And lastly, we have some Zubats that I bought for that Crobat deck I never got to build. So that concludes all of the Pokemon that are in this box. So now we can move on to the trainers, which will take up less time. I think the Pokemon are the most unique part of any decks because, you know, not every single one of these that I showed you was super viable, but I think it shows just how many different strategies there have been throughout the course of the history of this game. And I think they're all really cool. So this was really fun. Let's keep going. And we're actually going to start with the stadiums and then special energy, and then we'll go to trainers and supporters. So here we go. Ancient Tomb. Do not apply weakness for all Pokemon except Pokemon EX, or has no owner in play. This was run in the Worlds list of Gardevoir in 2004, so I picked it up. And I think it can be a tech sometimes, but I don't run it. I think I run Magnetic Storm instead in my Gardevoir decks. Chaos Gem. This is an important card for Neo. I don't know which decks want to run it, but every deck should want to because it's one of the weirdest cards ever, and it basically shuts down the game. So if you're a deck that can run this card and plan for it, you can be very effective to land a Chaos Gem and prevent your opponent from pressing their board state. Cinnabar City Gym works with Blaine's cards. Healing Field similarly is played with Steelix. And Island Cave, so this card is used in several decks. It was played in Waylord, and I run, like, I think a play set or close to a play set in my Metacham EX deck. I think I run like 3. Oh, no, I run Aqua's Hideout, so okay. 2006 Metacham wants to run Island Cave because there's no Aqua's Hideout left. Lake Boundary, this applies weaknesses 2 times. Kind of neat card. It's a tech. I don't know if I'll ever run it. Mystery Zone, of course, I ran this in Waylord because that's what Colin Mole played. You can exchange an evolved Pokemon for basic energy in your deck. Very weird. Narrow Gym is just a tech. It's the exact same thing as Giant Stump. Looks like I have a few of those. Pokemon Contest Hall is one of the few viable stadiums in the DP era, but it can be very tricky to figure out which deck you want to run it in. I'm still flirting with the idea of putting this in like a Dialga deck, but I'm not too sure. We'll see what happens there. Resistance Gym, I ran this in a deck. I don't remember what. Rocket's Tricky Gym, used that feint attack to snipe around. Pretty cool card. Rocklock plays it sometimes, I think. Shrine of Memories, mostly used with Mewtwo, Mega Mewtwo EX, I think. Space Center, which I mentioned so long ago. So yeah, ignore Pokebodies for all basic Pokemon in play. And this is a way to get around Wobbuffet. So I actually run a copy of this in my ZRE because I know that I have Wobbuffet in the Metacham deck, so I get to deal with that Wobbuffet with Space Center. Steel Shelter, I played it with Scissor. Here's Aqua's Hideout. This is why I run in my current Metacham list row 5. It increases the retreat cost, deals with Disruption more, and being able to get those spread KOs. Oh, boy. At one point, I knew what the name of this card was. Something to do with Rocket Pokemon. I think it... Oh, man. Maybe something with retreat cost? This is embarrassing. I don't remember what this card is called or what the effect is. All right, that's it for Stadiums. Let's move on to Special Energy here. We got Boost Energy, iconic card, play in a lot of different decks. I got 5 of them. And this card's great. Play it in Shiftry, play it in Gardevoir, play it in... I think Dark Tyranitar might play it if you don't have any Scramble or anything. Fun card, yeah. Cyclone Energy, very iconic. What deck doesn't want Cyclone Energy? Darkness Energy, back in the day, there was no basic Dark. You can only use this Darkness Energy as your special energy, so I have a couple Neo copies, and I have this copy from, that's Aquapolis. And, hey, provides Dark Energy and does plus 10 damage. Very cool. And if you're not a Dark Pokemon, you also take 10 damage between turns. This was a very neat thing that they did with Darkness and Metal Energy that I kind of wish they did more of, or something similar to that idea. I think now what they do is that it just says if you're not the type, then it just doesn't do anything. So more copies of Darkness Energy. And now we have Dark Metal, which it just provides Dark and Metal. So this is the solution they made before they made them basics. So, you know, Dragtrode wants this and stuff. Double Rainbow Energy, one of the best energy of all time. This is from the Crystal Guardians set. And provides 2 energy at the cost of an evolved non-EX Pokemon and minus 10 damage. Very cool. Full Heal Energy is played sometimes. And Heal Energy is a very underrated card. It heals all special conditions and 10 damage when you attach it. This card should be run in more decks. Very good card. Holland WP, I run this in Politoed EX. I think this is just an extra I had sitting around. So gives you effects if you're a Water Psychic. Here we go. We got more Metal Energy. Here we have Multi. Looks like all of them are from Sandstorm. Yeah, so must have been from my Wailord deck. Potion Energy. Gosh, I don't remember if this ever actually was viable, but I just have this sitting around. First edition. Ooh. All right, we got R Energy, also iconic. Every Rockets deck should be running this. Perfect in Dragtrode, and great card. Rainbow Energy is also iconic. We got Rescue Energy, Scramble Energy, and Shield Energy, and then a bunch of these EX era, or like E-card Water Energy that I played for my Wailord deck. So that is the Special Energy and the Stadiums from my box. So let's put these back here and move on to the trainers. Starting out with trainers/items before we get to supporters. Just as a reminder, again, these are all listed alphabetically. So here we go. And right off the top here, we have Ancient Technical Machine Rock. This card is a house. It is viable in every single format that is legal in. I love this card. There's nothing in the world that's more satisfying than your opponent using Rare Candy 4 times and then you using Stone Generator to just get rid of all those stage 2s, back to basics. Love this card, love this card, love this card. I run it when I shouldn't, and I play it when I shouldn't because it's just, there's no better feeling in the world. This is one of my favorite trainers ever. Balloonberry, this is a tech. I believe it was mostly used to like attach to a muck or something, but it's a very good effect. It's a one-time flipstone. How cool. Bicycle, this is for like turbo decks never played. Brock's training method was a big part of that Brock Steelix deck I mentioned earlier, so being able to just search your deck for a Brock Pokemon for free, very cool. Bill is Bill. What's up, Bill? We got Claw Fossil, used in a lot of different decks. And we got Computer Error, I don't think was ever actually playable. This is just a card I have sitting around, but pretty cool. Computer Search, on the other hand, is very viable. Discard 2 cards, search your deck for a card. Very nice. We got some Crystal Shards here. This is a tech that is not played enough in the format, so it's legal. And to turn your Pokemon into colorless type for one turn to be able to deal with those pesky colorless weak dragons. Very cool. Yeah, this is a very... Oh, my camera. This is a very underrated tech. You should be running this more. So that's why I have a few copies. And we even got this Rev Hollow here from Crystal Guardians. I forgot it was reprinted then. Devolution Spray. This was used in like Crobat decks. Digger. I think this is just sitting around. Double Gust. This was used when Gust was no longer legal, and most decks that ran it had some way to get around it. We got a bunch of copies of Dual Ball, including this very cool Reverse Hollow Expedition one. And yeah, a bunch of copies of Dual Ball. Just a good card. Energy Exchanger. This is a weird tech that I wish I could play more. I don't think people get that you can search up special energy with this card. And a lot of times, certain decks rely on being able to search for special energy. Unfortunately, it was printed in Undaunted. And I tell you what, if this card was printed in Unleashed and it was legal in 2010, you could do some crazy stuff with it. Of course, it's also legal in in Majestic Dawn on, but Undaunted also brought with it Vileplume, which has its own sort of problems where it's probably not worth it to be running this card. Energy Gain's Energy Gain. Energy Removal is Energy Removal. I have a bunch of these because I was able to pick them up for cheap, and I think I had a plan to build a bunch of these like base era decks, but never did, so that's why I have Energy Retrieval here as well. And new Energy Retrieval, this is just a great card. Be sure to have a few copies of them around. Energy Switch is an interesting tech, doesn't get played enough. Shout out to Scott for running it in that one Dragapult list. EXP All, I think it was really only played in like Dark Slowking lists, but I don't know much about those. I just remember knowing that's good. Focus Band's a very good card in Neo. This is just a crazy card. It should be run in most decks that can run it. Attaching a Focus Band to a baby Pokemon gives your opponent a 25% chance to knock it out. That's great for stalling. This is Goldberry. Very great card. It's played all the time in Neo if you're not familiar. Between turns, if your Pokemon has 40 damage on it, you discard this card and remove 40 damage from it. So just a phenomenal way to survive the game. Great Ball is a great card. Search your deck for basic. Gust of Wind is one of the most iconic cards of all time. Imposter Oak's Revenge. It's kind of like a reset stamp. I don't remember how much this was played, but I'm pretty sure there are decks that run this card. Iden Finder. It's modern. It's old Junk Arm, rather. Great card. Then we got Last. This card is really, really good because every deck just runs like 50 trainers. That was an exaggeration, but Last is a phenomenal card. All right. Next up here, we're going to get to the end of the items, I think. So we'll just... Okay. Here we go. Level Max. This is a weird one. It's like kind of viable, but not particularly. Lifer. Now this one is viable. It was played in Steelix for 2010 and 2011. So fun card. Lost Remover. This is a card that I wish was viable, but again, it wasn't because it was printed in Call of Legends, which was like way too late to be viable. I think it was maybe viable in like after 2011 during like Heart Gold Soul Silver on, during cities and states and stuff like that. But I don't have much experience with those formats. Master Ball is a great card. Should be played more. Mega Catcher, I don't know why it's there. Memory Berry is phenomenal. Mostly play it with Flygon, being able to use Trapinch to lock your opponent in. Mr. Fuji, I think, was played. Don't quite remember, though. Mysterious Fossil, though, was, again, these fossil decks. And here we have two more Reverse Hollows. There's really something about these, like E-card Reverse Hollows. They're just funky. Very gorgeous, though. Plus power is iconic. I'm telling you, at some point I was going to build this deck, and whenever I do, I'm prepared for it. All right, so check this out. This is a Pokeball from Fire Leaf Green, and this is a reverse holo, so if we get a good look at it. Oh, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Seriously, guys, Pokemon, if you're listening, please put energy symbols in reverse holos again. These are the most gorgeous cards ever. I bought a play set of them, but I think I took one out, so that's why it's sitting here. But they are all reverse holo, and they're all just absolutely beautiful. Next up, we have Pokeball Plus. This is a really crazy card, and it's typically played in Shove It Dunk. Allows you to just get more damage counters on the board. Similarly, we have Poke Drawer here. Allows you to just draw your entire deck if you just play 4 of them. So there you go. Then we have Poke Healer Plus. So here we have all the Poke Blower Plus, Poke Drawer Plus, Poke Healer Plus was the cycle. This one, if you play 2, you can heal 8 damage counters and all special conditions from your active Pokemon. Very fun card. I used to run this in Regigigas, but I took it out, but I think I'm considering putting it back in. And I've also dabbled with, or maybe I know someone who's dabbled with, Stefan Tobacco plays this in Gardevoir. Very cool. This is a fun card. I'd like to play it more. Oh, wow. I think what was that, 2 play sets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So close. Pokedex, another card that's used in Shup It. Look at the top 2 cards, put one of them into your hand. It's kind of like an acrobike, so here we go. I have a lot of those. Pokemon Center was a great card back in the day. Pokemon Flute is a tech. I think like Sneasel decks ran it. Combine it with Gust of Wind, and you can just keep knocking out like low HP Pokemon. Pokemon Reversal is iconic. Power Spray is iconic. Premier Ball is iconic. Professor Oak is, of course, iconic. Professor's Letter, I don't remember why I have these. Protective Orb is just a tech card. It's like a weakness policy. You just have no weakness when you're attached to it. Although, excluding Pokemon EX and its evolved Pokemon, geez, that's pretty restrictive. Random Receiver is just a fun card. Revive's a fun card. Rocket's Pokeball, for all your Rocket decks, you need these. Roller Skates for, like aggro decks, but that's not a good card, in my opinion. We got some Root Fossil here, including another that gorgeous. Oh, look at that rainbow. Yeah, so you can tell these are the remnants of my my Wailord deck just now in the box. Scissor Spirit Link. I wanted to build Mega Scissor after rotation when that was like kind of viable, but then we found out it sucked, so I never did. Scoop Up's good at the expense of returning energy, or discarding energy. It's like an AZ, but it's a trainer instead of a supporter. What? There was a deck that ran Secret Mission. I think when I first built Rocket Zapdos, the list that I was given ran Secret Mission. And so I put it in, and then I used it, and I realized how terrible of a card it is, so I replaced it with more copies of Pokemon Tower, because you should be running 4 copies of Pokemon Tower if you're playing Rocket Zapdos. Super Energy Removal is even more iconic. I believe Jason Klaczynski considers this the most powerful card ever printed, and I don't think he's alone. I think a lot of people consider this to be the strongest card ever printed. I personally am not in that camp. I would certainly call this top 5, maybe top 3, maybe even number 2. My belief is that Cleffa and Double Colorless Energy. Yeah, probably number 3, because I think mine would go Double Colorless Energy, then Cleffa, then Super Energy Removal, then Professor Oak, and I'm not really sure what the 5th one would be. Get back to me on that. But phenomenal card, very powerful. Every deck that can run this should be running 4, and I think people have discussed just banning it when they play old format because it's that powerful. Super Scoop Up is iconic. Surprise Time Machine is very cool. It's not used in a whole lot of situations. There are a few of them, but switching out an evolved Pokemon for another one is kind of difficult because you would need to have multiple different evolutions that all work. Famously, Jimmy Ballard ran this in his Evolutions deck that got 2nd place at Worlds 2006. So if you ever want to build Evolutions, stock up on your surprises here. Switch. 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 I really like this version of Switch. It's very cool. I think it's getting hard to find, actually. And Tool Retriever, not very good. Trash Exchange was used in Neo decks. I want to say Feraligatr plays this because it allows you to try to get energy into the discard pile to use Feraligatr. U-turn board or whatever. Fire Red, Leaf Green, Versus Seeker. So this is pretty cool. This was the first printing of Versus Seeker. So this is left over for one of my old decks. And then we got some copies of Warp Point. So all the way printed back in Gym, which I always forget it was printed in Gym. And then this is a DP Rev Holo. And then we got some League promo foils with that nice crosshatch pattern. Okay, we are down to our supporters. Let's see what kind of goodies we got in this pile. All right. Aaron's Collection is a must-run in any SP deck. Bebe Search is a must-run in literally every single deck that can run it. Seriously, this card is amazing, and I love it to death. I run it, and I run max copies if I can typically, or like 3. I really like this card. Brock's Grit. This was maybe considered as a tech back when it first came out. Buck's Training. Shut Donk runs this to try to get that extra bit of damage. I think it's the only supporter Shut Donk runs. Or maybe it runs Collector. Maybe 2009 Uxie Donk only runs Buck's Training. CeeLo's Network is a very powerful supporter in whenever it's legal. These copies of Clay are left over from when I played Night March at St. Louis Regionals in 2020, right before everything went bad. I ran Clay in that deck. That was fun. Here we got some copies of Copycat. So here's the old printing of it, and here's the modern printing. Very great card. I love this art so much. This is really cool. Cynthia's Guidance, I think I consider it as a tech at one point, but I don't think it's very good. We got a play set of Cyrus's Conspiracy. If you're playing any SP deck, you're going to need some Cyruses. This card is one of the best supporters in the format. Being able to Cyrus for a Cyrus is one of the reasons that makes SP so powerful. Engineer's Adjustments is a card that I keep trying to run, and I keep finding out that it's not good, and I keep taking it out. But someday, I'll put these in, and I'll keep them in. Fisherman is a necessary supporter. Holland Farmer, important for any Holland engine you may be running, as well as Holland Scientist. If you're playing Holland, you need these. I have a lot of copies of Judge. This is just a great card, and I think the art is really great too. And the Judge from Harkle's Unleashed is a great card, great art. Everything about it is great. Lynette's Net Search is an underrated supporter from the EX era. It allows you, it's basically Pokemon Collector with you have to choose different types, but a lot of decks still play it because it's quite easy to meet that criteria. Looker's Investigation is a great disruptive card if you don't want to run Judge, or if you're playing in a format where Judge is not legal, Looker's is your go-to. Lysander's Trump card is banned. Mary's Request, great card. Plumber's Contribution is just a tech. It's, I think I considered it for a deck. I think, I don't remember. I played this in a deck at one point. I don't remember which deck it was. Maybe it was a 2009 deck. Maybe it was like Flygon, but I don't quite remember. Professor Oak's Research is a pretty nice draw supporter in that format. If you're tired of TV Reporter and Steven, or if you just need to refresh your hand and Copycat's unavailable, you can go for Oak as like a tech. It's not the best, but being able to refresh your hand is always better than not at all. So that's why I have this here. This card, on the other hand, is trash. So Professor Rowan's even worse. Ugh. Professor's Research, yeah. Psychic's Third Eye, not very good. Rival, unfortunately, not very good either. It's like... the fact that your opponent chooses the cards for you makes it not good enough. Sage's Training, very viable. Scott is a phenomenal card. Amazing card. Love this card a lot. All from Emerald. Yeah, I run this card in a lot of decks. Don't know why I have Shauna. Steven's Advice is a card I run in even more decks because it's one of the best supporters ever printed, and is what makes one of the reasons why Hidden Legends is just one of the best sets ever printed. Come on. If you're playing these formats, you know what's up. You're running Steven. Town Volunteers, nice tech in 2004. TV Reporter, also a phenomenal card. If you're playing a format where TV Reporter is legal, you might be running it. Especially if you're not playing a Holland engine, you're probably rocking this. 2004, every deck runs 4 of these. Every other format, you're looking pretty good at TV Reporters. Really good card. Wally's Training is a card that, geez, I want to say the Worlds deck of maybe Gardevoir. One of the Worlds decks from 2004 ran this. This is the Emerald copy though. Maybe, was this? Maybe it was 2005. Oh wait, does Metacham run this? Maybe Metacham runs Raleigh's Training. Maybe mine does. Maybe I'm a terrible player. You know what? Let's go find out. Let's see if my own Metacham deck runs Wally and I just am crazy. Yep, there he is. So I'm just crazy. Never mind. Wally's Training is a great great card. Oh jeez. So anyway, that explains why I have extras of that. So here we go. All right. Now I just got to get the deck back in the deck box. Maybe we'll do that later. Okay, so we have done a lot, and I have somehow spent 50 minutes going through this box and talking about it. So if you have stuck around, thank you so much. I said in the intro that I would show my binder, but honestly, this has been just like a lot more than I thought it would be. And I'm guessing you all don't really feel like listening to and looking at my binder after all this. So tell you what, we will put the binder till next time. But again, if you have gotten this far, first of all, thank you for watching. I hope this was fun for you. I had a lot of fun getting to go through my old collection and looking at the cards that I picked up over the years. You know, like I said, I would spend my summers like raiding my game stores around my city and just saying, hey, you guys got Pokemon bulk? And I would spend hours looking through them and just trying to find these gems that have made their way here and have made their way into my decks. So this was a great time, and I got to think about all the memories I had getting these cards. Some of them way cheaper than I should have. I cannot count how many copies of Cleffa from Neo I got for 25 cents. So thank you for getting it this far. And since you've come this far, I want to have a giveaway. Here's what's going to happen. I hope you're paying attention to the cards that you saw in this box, because I'm going to be giving some of them away. For sure, what I'm going to do is that I will be giving away 5 cards of your choice to one winner. I might decide to do multiple winners and let them choose some cards as well, but for now, we are guaranteed at least one of you will be getting 5 cards of your choice from this box. All you have to do is make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment on the video. A like is also appreciated, but like I can't force you to. But subscribe and leave a comment. And you know what? Leave a comment telling me what was your favorite card from this box, or tell me, do you have your own box? You can say whatever you want, but you know, I'd love to hear from you all. This is a tiny community. It's 150 subscribers, and I'm pretty sure it's even fewer than 150 people that are truly interacting with these videos. So I want to hear from you. Let's get talking in the comments. But yeah, so I will give this video a week after it comes out. You all have a week to enter, and then I will choose the winner and I will hit them up. And like I said, you get 5 cards from this box. Unfortunately, this playmat, I'll be keeping this, but otherwise, any 5 cards in here. And I might also hit some other people, and I might tell you, hey, you can take 1 card or 3 cards or whatever. But for sure, 5 cards from this box for you, your choice. Subscribe and comment, and in a week, I will announce the winner and I will contact them. So once again, everyone, thank you so much for 150 subscribers. I am really enjoying making these videos. More should be on the way. I am still in college, so focusing on my time on that means I don't always have time to either make these videos or record footage for them. But despite all that, I'm going to keep going, and hopefully you keep watching, and let's keep having some fun here. And honestly, just talk about our love for this game, because that's what all brings us here. So that's all for me, and I'll see y'all next time.